Welcome to Smutty Scriptures, the podcast where three best friends gather together to explore the holy text of fantasy romance novels. I'm Head Priest Blue Cromwell, and I'm joined by my sisters in sin, Cuddlefish and Purple Space Cat, to tell you all about our thoughts on this episode's sacred text. We are partaking in the tandem read of the Throne of Glass series of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. For this episode, we did start Empire of Storms at chapter 24 to the end of 53, and then Tower of Dawn from 22 to the end of 42. So about the middle section of the tandem read. We have a lot of thoughts. I've never seen Cuddle so happy and excited.
It's like, I don't know what it's like.
Goofy.
I mean, okay, so it's called Smutty Scriptures because we want the smut, and I feel like
so thirsty.
Listen, we're how many books in, and Sarah finally gave it to me, and when she gives it, man, there was a lot. Everybody's fucking
Sarah, not the only one to be giving it.
Hey, ayo.
Oh,
And you're all banned.
I'm so happy.
I'm so glad, dude. I knew this is what the series was missing for you as a reader, and honestly, I was feeling it too. But it's just we we enjoyed our time through these books, but we went through a lot of just fantasy with a romance subplot, and now things are changing.
I'm so happy. I feel so fulfilled.
So fulfilled.
Oh my god.
Oh, there were so many good scenes with it, though. Like on the beach making glass and thunderstorms.
All right, I gotta admit, that was pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
Literally.
For all of them, for them, for us,
and then, he takes her against a fucking wall.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! And even Chaol was getting some action. I mean, she had to chill him out,
Yeah.
and they're all like he, and I'm like, oh my god!
Everybody's fucking everybody.
It's gonna be the most vanilla sex ever, but I just need you
not
to have
everybody.
it.
Nesrin's not fucking.
Not yet.
Not yet.
She's gonna be
She is
fucking.
getting a bird though.
She gonna get a
calling
lot
it.
more than that.
Yeah,
She gonna get
She's
herself a new bae.
They're gonna play hide the feather.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Thanks.
Stop
Okay.
I
turkey.
hate it. No,
turkey.
dude. Bro,
Disgusting. I love
this
it.
is
Wow,
Smutty Scriptures
Purple.
after dark. I don't know how to describe this.
And then, even Lorcan though.
Oh god, I love him.
We stopped right at the good part. I was a little mad, but I'm okay with it. I think I got a little frustrated because I was like, no, don't stop. and then they're like, that's
Death's getting laid.
Yeah,
like, where are your priorities?
We might die, so it's not the time for that.
You're like, I need this.
I mean, the timing wouldn't be great. Imagine if a lead died right after losing their virginity. That would suck.
Is it her virginity?
Yeah.
Also, ew.
Well, someone in the story had to be a virgin. It's just young adults.
Gross.
There's, you know.
Well, so was
I just like the trope.
So was Aelin.
so
once
was
upon a time.
Aelin. Yeah. What do you mean once upon a time? She never slept with Sam.
No, I mean because Chaol.
Oh, I forgot about Chaol. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
What do you mean you forgot about him, bro?
I forgot about their relationship. I guess that goes to show just how much I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, Chaol has her virginity. So...
You know who I am the most glad doesn't have their virginity?
Manon?
No.
Oh.
No. Mr. Kitty Cat,
I'm sorry. Do you mean Dad, Kitty Cat?
if you will. In our scriptures on page 278.
Which book?
Oh, sorry. Empire Storms. He says, 1, I did not deny you anything, kitty cat. She's just a kitty cat. And my life now has meaning. So
Nice.
Love that.
everything is better now. And I'm glad that oh my god. Him meeting 88 whatever. His
Take a breath.
Take your time.
Try
Hear
again.
me? Son in there. So many
Uh-huh.
family.
Wait, what? Oh, try that one more time. What happened to your voice?
There's a lot
First of
happening.
all, you. Second of all, we're gone. I don't even know what page. Okay, so page 290. That's what I marked for meeting Dad, and all I wrote, crying, sad face. That's all I wrote.
Short, simple, to the point.
And the fact Sandra was there with him, and she's all like, "Brr," and they're all like, "Da, da, da, da," and I was like, feeling. And then the whole rest of the time, he's just like staring longingly at his son, and he's just like ignoring him, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll make up one day. Maybe.
They'll be okay.
Maybe.
I have family issues.
I literally tagged like 30 things in Empire of Storms. For Tower of Dawn, I also tagged like maybe 10. There's a lot that happened in this section. You almost think it's the end of the book.
Can you almost like people skip Tower of Dawn? Like they completely skip it. And I'm like, there's so much plot you are missing. Like you can't.
Oh, no, you mean like how Aedion told Lysandra that he was gonna marry her?
Oh, I love that. But we're talking Tower of Dawn is the Chaol.
Never mind.
And Nezrin.
I'm here. I'm just listen. My brain is not working because I'm going through a lot.
That's
Chaol.
Fine.
Okay, switching back over to Tower of Dawn. Sorry,
Chaol. I love Chaol again. I know.
Wow.
I do
Who
though.
Said earlier. Who fucking called it?
I don't know, but I do. I love Chaol again, and this story that they've made in Tower of Dawn, and like they're coming back to the light story is so good. Mm-hmm. I love this journey that they're on, and I love the writing, and it's beautiful. You know, there's just one part that I didn't enjoy that I'll bring up later on.
All the parts with Carol in it.
No, I actually love Chaol. Do you know what I love? I love happy Chaol. I love happy, giggling, like sultry, confident Chaol.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say, I did love Chaol when the thingy was breaking into the room. I don't actually know if that was this section or the last one, but I think that's
this one. Yeah.
All right, so that one.
Yeah,
that's the way that he dealt with Irene's like fears and everything.
Yeah, or he's all like, we're gonna talk it through, and it's gonna be a thing, and it's gonna be a thing, and we're gonna keep talking about it. And we're like, we're not gonna be scared, even though it's totally a time to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Chaol's like a very self-sacrificing character, and I think that Irene gives him a reason and a direction to put it where it makes sense. Like Chaol risking it all for Aelin is ridiculous because Aelin is a boss ass bitch. And we found out a tremendous deal about her lineage, and that just even further proves that. So it doesn't make sense for him to be self-sacrificing to someone who can hold their own. But Irene cannot. And I feel like that is it. I'm comfortable with him in that moment throwing himself in front of Irene and fully willing to take the bullet, so to speak, of the monster thing for her. And I feel like that makes that action endearing and sweet. Whereas if he was doing it for Dorian, or if he's doing it for Aelin or anybody like Aedion or whatever, it's annoying and I hate it.
Yeah. I can see that. I think for me, I forgive that a little bit just because I feel like Chaol would do that for almost anybody. Like, there could be someone that Chaol really doesn't fucking like in that room. Obviously, it's a very sweet, touching moment for the couple itself, and I like that how he responded to her fears and her like response to everything. I thought that was beautiful, but I feel like Chaol's the type of character where it wouldn't matter. If he had just met like a random person and he presumed they were innocent because it's a random person and they were in a life or death scenario, I do believe Chaol would give his own life for a stranger. Yeah, so I'm like, I agree. It's pandering a lot to like Aelin. I could definitely see that where it comes off of like, okay, listen, she's like basically a demigod. Like she's gonna be all right. But it does come off very sweet in that moment. That was a very good scene for them.
Which, speaking of demigod, one of my favorite parts, I don't remember where specifically it is, I'd have to look, but was the conversation that they had with Elena in the hotel, where Selena is just giving her mad shit in front of Dorian, and Dorian is like giving utmost respect and bowing to her, and Aylin's like, yeah, cut the shit.
Yeah.
And Dorian was just sitting there like, the fuck are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, I loved that. That was hilarious.
I hate that like what happened to Riftfold happens, but at the same time, like Dorian and Aelin together is so like iconic. I love it.
Dorian kind of falls flat for me right now. Oh my god, but that part with Manon? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
he's kind of turning a little, he's twisting a little. He's a little dark.
Bro, I love it. You have no idea how bad I was just like, fucking take her, just do it. I have mixed feelings, but I want this right now.
Just like them. They have mixed feelings, but they wanted it right then.
And then he asked for consent, and I was like, there you go, green light. You got this, buddy.
I'm all right.
And then he teased her, and I was like, oh my god. Dorian, you are no longer my favorite. When they do, oh my. And I did not imagine, I think you guys were right. I had said that in the bedroom, Manon would be the take charge because she could not relinquish control. Yeah. She was turned on by being told what to do. I was like, okay, I love this. I love wrist, and I want them to do some. I know they're probably not gonna, but oh my god, Sarah, listen, you have the opportunity to get into some kinky shit with the two of them. I need details. I'm trying to not make my voice crack.
Just imagine what being able to have basically, magic hands apart from your body.
Yeah.
While your body is doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Just imagine all of the shenanigans you can get up to.
Mm-hmm.
Just so many options.
That's probably what she's thinking about right now.
I think Manon is turning him into a badass.
I think they will pull each other back into balance. I think she will not kill as mercilessly. One, because of learning her lineage and how she's been manipulated her whole life to be violent, but also because Dorian has such strong lines over what we do and don't do. Like the fact that there was that scene where Manon, like that creature was about to attack her and Dorian obviously stopped it. And he's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, free him. I was like, that's not Manon, bro. Like there's no fucking way. Like she'll make Dorian more like that. And then she'll kind of level out to being maybe not a compulsive murderer. Maybe just as a hobby.
Just like recreationally. It's fine.
Like a side project or something. Like that's fine.
But the moment that she was flying over with Abraxas, it was an instant shift in Dorian's demeanor and the way that he was written. And the way that he walked, the way that he moved, the way that he spoke. And I fucking love it. I love when characters are their badass selves. Mm-hmm. I'm in love with Aelin right now. I did not enjoy the whiny little bitch that she used to be. No. But like badass Aelin, I am here for it. Yeah. Manon, fucking go. All of the Fae men, yes, I love you.
Yes. I feel like Sarah's so good at that. Like that's like, as far as like my impressions of her just as an author, she's so good at like taking your characters to like, oh, I love them, to they're going to go through the worst things ever and become the worst possible versions of themselves. And you're like, oh, I hate it. And then she's like, actually, did you think about how they're going to have their redemption arc and be here now? And then you're like, where we clue that before? Like she does this like,
wait a minute, I thought I loved them. Wait a minute, I thought I hated them.
Yeah.
Just like Lysandra, bro. Like easily one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
I love so much when she's in her kitty cat form.
Oh yeah, it's iconic. We do have to start dissecting this. I know we've kind of given some general thoughts.
There's literally so much.
There's so much. Do we have a favorite part, like an individual section per se?
I don't think we could give one. So much. I mean, going from the fucking sea dragon With
that was pretty
Bad
fucking
ass.
wicked.
Bad fucking ass.
And everybody had a hand in that too. You know, Dorian shattering it. Are you kidding me? 80 in one fucking shot.
And his dad like, woo, yay!
So supportive.
Yay!
But then you like, and Deanna came in, and that was a whole thing.
So that proves that the gods are like legit real and around. And
she opened the door.
not at all like scared to step in.
Hate that because they
makes
may
me
or may
feel
not
things.
have wanted to murder people.
But it also means that they're in like a side plane.
Yeah.
Because they just opened a door and she came through. I don't know. There's a lot there. We'll go into that.
That makes me wonder how if they're in a different plane, how they're able to, you know, basically do their god thing and like affect or impact life in this other plane, the one that everybody is on, when they're in a completely different one. Like, what kind of power do you have in order to cross planes, not with yourself, but with your magic?
Godlike powers.
Yeah, well. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super smart. So you had, so that whole thing was so fucking cool. I had no idea that he was a Mycenaean. Are you kidding me, bro? Out of nowhere, floored me. I was like, I'm here for all of it. I want it all. Yes.
I loved whenever she was like hitting on Browen and Browen's like, sorry, I'm taken. And then she's all like, yeah, by somebody who's amazing and wonderful and gorgeous, talking about herself.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I love it.
Everyone in the room who knows is just like, this
wow.
is fine. This
I loved
happen.
There was like, I think that they meant it to be like a throwaway line, but right around that place on page 241 in chapter 27 in Empire of Storms, right around that conversation, Dorian says to Rolf, you will find, Rolf, that one does not deal with Selena Sardothian. One survives her.
I love it. I love it so much.
I was cackling. I cackled.
All of that.
I want to be somebody that people have to survive, but like not in the way that like I survived my parents.
Sure,
just like in a nice way.
Okay, mommy and daddy issues episode. Love it.
There was so much growth, and it was such good, positive growth. When Chaol walked, are you kidding me? I was almost in tears. You guys were actually watching that part.
I know.
I was losing it. About to throw the book.
That was really my selection for like a favorite part of our tandem read. That and also one moment beforehand, because I was really glad that Chaol got to this moment before we got to. I wouldn't say he's like fully healed right now, right? He's still going through it and still can't like necessarily run or jump and like things like that, right? But getting him to that point again was really cool. I actually tagged in Tower of Dawn. It's page 440 in the scriptures, which is at the beginning of chapter 38. And I really loved that, like, you can see all of the growth that Chaol's had in this moment, where he says standing or sitting had nothing to do with it. This moment, he could speak with dignity and command wherever, or whether he stood on his feet or was laid flat on his back. The chair was no prison, nothing that made him lesser. That from the character who loathed himself and isolated himself because of this whole thing, to go through the mental healing of getting to that point, just being able to see Chaol have that thought process of that didn't make him lesser, it was really nice to have, especially right before we got to the point of like, he's like, okay, I have recovered at least, so that's good.
Right.
But everyone's growing, dude. The growth is crazy on all these characters, to be honest.
I had a really fun part that I think is probably a little bit out there.
Go on.
I really enjoyed the fight to get Chaol to stand. I tagged some of that because they're slinging insults back and forth. I was like, damn, okay. I didn't know you felt that way.
Yeah.
That stings me a little.
Yeah, it was very like, Jeez. Okay. Well, we're just going straight for I don't know, the soul with these. Page 450, Tower of Dawn. I think you were glad for her, Nezrin, to remain away so you could pretend that you are honor bound to her and let that be a wall. So that when you are here with me, you don't see her watching, don't need to think about what she is to you. With her away, she's just a memory, a distant ideal. When she's here and you look at her, what do you see? What do you feel? And I was like, damn, okay. And then he threw it right back at her. And I loved that bickering and fighting. And I think that was so prevalent, and it was my favorite thing. Like dragon things set aside and all that growth set aside, I am in love with all of the couples arguing.
Yeah,
let me tell you what.
What does that say?
Hold on. Let me explain.
Sure.
Because
dig a little deeper, why don't you?
All of the couple, I like a little struggle in my relationship, but they're all equally matched, and I fucking love it.
Sure.
Even Elide and Lorcan, she does not back down from him anymore, and she lets him have it, and he fucking takes it, and I love that. And he will also dish it back out, but he knows there's a line. And oh god, that was such. It's like, and he even said to himself that I will not go and find out what she's hiding. There's a line that I won't come back from. And I was just, oh my god, yes, more. I need the boundaries. I need you to recognize the relationship that you're in and see them as equal. Rowan, right before him and Aelin had their moment on the beach, she asked him what it would be like, and he says, I don't know. I've never had sex with an equal. I've only allowed myself to, whatever with, I can't remember now specifically what he said, but I can only allow myself to be that vulnerable with lesser women. And I just love that everybody seems to be pairing up with equals. That to me makes me so happy, because I was never satisfied with Dorian, and I was never satisfied with Chaol and Aelin. And I really wasn't even satisfied with Sam, because it just wasn't there for me. But seeing her and Rowan, and their sex life is incredible. And Lysandra and Adian.
It just started.
Right.
I know, and I'm already here for it. But even Lysandra, because where is it? Page. It was right after Adian was struggling with his dad. And Lysandra just says on page 291 of Empire of Storms, she says, you say the word, General, and I'll transform into the face of their nightmares. She's just being silly and just like, because they're joking. I mean, kind of, but she's just there for him. And at one point, she's in her kitty form. She just puts her head on his lap, and they just cuddle. Like, just complete acceptance for what each other is, even though it terrified him at first. And I just that's my favorite part. I know that's not one specific one, but there's so much going on. I can't pick just one.
Fair enough. There's a lot of good happening. What about you, Purple?
Whale. I have to say that I love the culture dive that we got to go into with the mountain people.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Oh, why that face? Don't be like that, Cuddle. No, I think it's really cool. I think it's interesting. I mean, that's always been my favorite part of like sci-fi stuff is, Star Trek going and, seeking out new life and like learning about different cultures and different peoples and how they do things. And I just think that's really cool. That's the good shit. It's variety. It's different. I love the fact that they're the Hearth Mother thing, that's who's in charge is a lady. And I just, that's so good. But I do have to say that even more than that, in Empire of Storms, in our scripture on page 496, near the top, Lysandra popped her hideous head up from a tangle of brambles,
Rude.
and Aelin yelped, falling back a step. The shifter grinned, revealing 2 very, very sharp fangs. Fenris loosed a low laugh, scanning the shifter as she slithered a few feet ahead. So you can change skin and bone, but the brand remains. So it's not about the brand. What I love so much. That's just one example, but I love how Lysandra is embracing her wildness.
Oh yeah.
And she's just like, ah. And then she is the only one having a grand old fucking time in this swamp, looking at the creatures and being like, all spooky. She's like being a snake. And even whenever they do the thingy and they let it go, the thingy attacks and stuff, and she's like, Lysandra sighs, aren't they beautiful? She is here for it. She takes it. She's lighthearted. She spooks the people. She's just like diving after the animals to like go play with them and shit. I'm just like, God damn it. That's so adorable. It's cute. It's lighthearted. It's so good because I know that whenever she was in the city and she was being the prostitute stuffs and the courtesan, and she was in that life and very confined, very constrained, you do A, B, and C, and that's pretty much it. You don't do anything else. You have to do everything a specific way. You have to be very prim and proper. You have to present yourself in a way. You have to talk in a way. And while it's good to have the skills, in this particular world for various reasons, I love that now she is basically taken all of that and thrown it away, and then been like, nah, and then like dives into the mud because she just wants to go be a snake. It's gonna go be a snake for a little while, and she is having the time of her life, and I love it so much. It is not just entertaining to read; it makes my heart lighter.
Hell yeah,
it's fabulous.
Yeah, she's refreshing and very
different. It's just good.
Do you guys have least favorite parts of these sections?
I absolutely do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
by all means, go on.
I was very angry about this because it felt like a betrayal to me.
Oh.
Listen, it was only that one time. You said you weren't going to eat it.
For this reason, Chaol will not be making Bay of the Day.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think
he breathed.
He would. But go on.
In Tower of Dawn, during the dinner conversation where he's kind of been ganged up on by the royal family, this would be 419 to 420. They ask Chaol, would you swear on Irene's life that Aelin is not burning down the villages of Eelway on the coast? And Chaol thinks to himself, say yes at the top of 420. But he couldn't bring himself to say yes. Because he, in his mind, even though he has seen her boundaries and her lines, still in his mind, holds all of the bullshit that she had to do when she was an assassin against her. And Grave holds that against her. And holds what's the guy's name that she did in the sewer?
Archer?
Dickwad.
Archer. Where she gutted Archer. And he holds that against her too. And for that reason, in front of everyone in that court, he would not vouch for her. And that to me pissed me off. Because I was like, well, let's look at what you're saying. Graves and Archer are the two that he specifically brings up in the book, in the holy text, if you will, as reasons inside of his head of, Aelin's I've seen her do all these crazy things, and my mind floats back to those two things. Archer was a backstabbing liability. Huge liability. And Graves not only murdered, but tore her friend to pieces.
Literally.
So,
and quote, painted an artwork in the room.
Yeah, specifically to piss her off. But Nehemia knew that was going to happen. So, as much as I dislike Nehemia, it is what it is. I don't think anybody should be holding those two murders against her.
Is he holding those murders against her, or is he acknowledging that for the greater good, she's willing to do whatever it takes, and he doesn't have all the facts?
But I don't think that's... I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that she would do anything. I think that she has shown to him and to the world in her dramatic displays of power that she has boundaries. Mm-hmm. Yes, she kind of held an entire city hostage in the Fae world or whatever it was called in Wendelin. But she didn't hurt anybody. And afterwards she was even like, yeah, I wasn't going to like hurt anybody though. It was mostly just to kind of show off and scare Maeve. Mm-hmm. I don't think for 1 second that if Maeve didn't crack that Aelin would have burned those people alive. Not for a second do I think that. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think she would have burned the people alive.
No. I just think it's more like coming from his experience of like, there are arguments over Dorian and is he alive? Is he not? And Chaol's like, please don't kill him. And Aelin's like, I'm going to kill him. And then he's like, please don't though. And then they find out in the end that that's not how that's working out. Like, Aelin, and he knows that, Aelin is willing to kill him, which is a bad act by default, but because she doesn't think at that point that he's still
and
inside.
She explains it at that it would be a mercy.
Right, so how does he know what's happening in Elway isn't a mercy? That's just how I feel about it. I feel like he's like, I just don't know the facts, bro.
But in the writing, that's not what he said. He didn't say, oh, I don't know all the facts. I don't know the situation. It's not right for me to judge. He said, yeah, but she like do some crazy shit though. And then goes back to Graves and goes back to Archer.
Yeah, but he doesn't want either one of those people alive either.
Right. And I just think that it's super, super mean. And I was mad at him.
It's very gross.
You know, and that pissed me off because, you know, Aelin did a lot for him. And I understand that they kind of had a falling out and that Chaol kind of broke into pieces after that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like here on page 422, he says, he still dreamed of her gutting Archer, Finn, and Cold Blood, still dreamed of what she left of Graves' body in that alley, still dreamed of her butchering men like cattle in Rifthold and in Endovir, and knew just how unfeeling and brutal she could turn. He had quarreled with this earlier, had quarreled with her earlier this summer about it. The checks on her power, the lack of them. And I hate that. I hate it so much to think that she's too powerful and that she would need someone to keep her in line. It's I don't like it. To me, it's bordering misogynistic, and I do not enjoy that at all. And for that reason, Chaol is the weakest link. I'm happy for him with what's going on with his toes wiggling and now he's standing and walking and you know, I'm happy that he's you know, kind of healing his inner heart. I hope that heals because I fucking hate that part. I can't stand that. Drives me crazy.
Healer lady will heal that part.
We'll see.
With her hugs of light.
What about you, Purple? Do you have a least favorite?
Yes. Literally every single mention and part with spiders in it. Literally all of it. I threw the book. I was like, absolutely fucking not. We are not doing this. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good. No. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. Nope. Not today.
Is it just because they're spiders or because they're
I hate
intelligent them. Or like
it's like sandpaper in my brain and I can't get away from it. And I'm like, God damn it. What we need Aelin to so you know that meme, where you see a spider and then you light your house on fire and you're like, yay, I got it. Okay, so Aelin needs to come over and light their asses on fire, and then maybe I might be okay with it a little bit. Yeah, but like just thinking about it now, I'm like, heebie-jeebies, I cannot. And now we're just going into the spider world and a fucking like, no. Okay, but like, are the birds worth it? Are the birds worth it? Are the birds worth it? Like, they can have more. I know, but that's not I cried when the little birdie got dead. Okay, that was like the worst part ever. But I read it out loud to you right before we started doing this to highlight how terrible the dead baby bird part was. It's so terrible. But even so, at what cost? Like, I would still murder all of them just to avoid the spider people because I hate them and they need to die. I feel very strongly, and I won't change.
That's reasonable.
Yep, very, very reasonable. Death to spider people. All of them.
That's the title.
Every last one.
Goofy.
Just genocide the spider people.
Did you think it was weird that whenever they were going over there, that she put the little mouse guy Falcon in her breast pocket
and then kept tapping?
Yeah, to her boob.
Yeah. Yeah. At first I thought it was like her pocket, like her pants pocket. And I was like, well, but if you're sitting, he goes squish, so I guess not that one.
Nope.
So then I was thinking like she's wearing a suit and there's like that pocket right there on the breast pocket on the inside. So business people would be like, I take out my pen. She'd be like, I take out my shapeshifter.
Yeah, she missed an opportunity to just wear a hat and then pull off like a Ratatouille situation.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
That's how Miss learns how to fly the birds.
Wow. One might call it iconic.
Hey man, there you go.
I think that the best part, the only redeeming thing about the spider people scenes, the only part was whenever they were reading the writing and it's all like, look up. Because the whole time they were going through this nonsense, I was like, it's not going to be on the floor. Have you ever seen a spider on the ceiling?
Yeah.
And then it's like, look up. And I'm like, thank you. God damn it.
God damn.
Then I was like, okay, I am back to absolutely hating this trash.
Blue, did you have a least favorite part?
I can't really pinpoint anything specific. I mean, it did hurt to see Manon have to be separated from Abraxas. I really did not like that.
I didn't.
Neither did either one of them. So that wasn't great.
I don't understand. Why would you not have him fly ahead and scout? Obviously, even if he was really high.
There's no flowers for him to smell.
Yeah, he has to go somewhere, like, do a little vacation. PTO.
I just thought it was I don't like how mean they are.
To Manon?
I don't like... Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Aelin, stop, bro. You are now my prisoner. Shut the fuck up, bro. I mean, pissed.
It's probably because we have a much stronger relationship with Manon than Aelin does.
A little bit.
And we know a lot more about Manon.
Because Aelin, no. Because they had the life-death thing, and then Manon was like, hey, by the way, Dorian's a fucking live, and then she saved his life fucking later, and Dorian's like, oh yeah, did you know she like actually betrayed her entire people and gave up her lineage and her royalty and everything that's ever mattered to her to save my fucking life? And Aelin's like, sounds like criminal behavior to me. And I'm like, fucking Aelin, bro, please. Like, I get it, but she was a little
she
too...
been burned. Well, maybe not.
It was a little too intense for me because I was like, oh my god. I mean, she comes in half dead. She's not a threat right now.
When you say half, like that's almost all dead.
Yeah, like she's
her insides are literally coming out.
She didn't even make it to the boat, bro. Dorian had to go in and get her ass. Like, bro, come on. It was just a little too much. But as far as anything specific, there's like little moments like that where I'm like, oh my god, stop being a heckin' meanie, dude, or something like that. But there's not like any major point really.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for that.
Yeah,
I did have a guffaw moment whenever Rowan and Aelin were like doing their mind talking about him letting down the shield right where the not really an alligator is. Because I was thinking to myself, if he hadn't let it down it didn't know that the shield was there, so it still would have lunged. Didn't the one like what face planted into the air right next to her? I thought that was very funny in my brain.
Yeah, Rowan, what was the plan there? Just like right across the fucking ship. Oh my god!
Listen, he's doing the best he can.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys have any moments that really stood out to you as like surprising? I know we've gone over the Lysandra scene with the sea dragon and like that whole part with Rolf, but anything in particular besides that?
There was a couple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that whole thing with Rolf. We've talked about this before. I love it when Aelin unveils a plan, and when Aelin called in, the Valg with her. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this ended with Mycenians and the dragon. Oh my god. I also was surprised when Fenris was impersonated.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manon's like, no, it's not.
He was like, that's not him.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's like, dude, you guys didn't even notice?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I was shocked at that. I wasn't prepared to. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if because obviously Lysandra transforms into Fenris too later on to like kind of like fuck with him. I wonder if they're gonna tie that into like the plot at one point and like try to trick Maeve at some point with that shindig. Maybe for Fenris or Gabrielle, I'm not really sure. But
wouldn't she be able to smell Lysandra again?
They've been playing around it. Just they would hug for like 30 minutes and then be like, all right, well.
Gross.
How did they not notice? That is kind of interesting. Especially if they're using their other senses. How come Manon could determine it, but they couldn't?
He steps up and she goes, sniff, sniff. Nah.
I think,
how could they not smell the otherness?
I think maybe it's like a combination of like they're not really expecting it. Manon's like being held prisoner is like, am I gonna die? Like she's more on like alert and more like predator senses than the Fae who are like, who's gonna be here? We just fucking we're just out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe something like that.
I don't think there was too much else that really had me shocked.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything too crazy.
I was kind of shocked whenever Aiden was all like, I'm gonna marry you. I was like, dude, take your time. Like, I know why he done the thing.
Oh,
like,
I thought it was sweet.
It was like, and I get it, but like, also no.
I was surprised that Chaol already made a joke about having a baby with Irene, and I was like,
yeah.
You've known each other for not long enough to joke about having a baby. She's 22. A child having a baby?
In that economy?
Come on, man. A teenage bride at 22 years old? I don't think so.
The way my insides started to heave when they had the baby scare, like vomiting with Aelin.
Yeah.
I was like, don't do that. Don't you fucking do it, Sarah.
Sarah loves it.
I swear to God.
She loves it. Someone in this fucking book or one of these fucking books is getting pregnant. And I know that because she fucking did that to our girl Feyre. She took her out of commission. One of these motherfuckers is going to have a baby. One of them. Before these books are, well, maybe they wouldn't have the baby before the books are ended, but there's going to be some fucking pregnancy shit going on. If I know Sarah.
It's so gross.
Well, I agree, but Sarah's going to do it.
On that note, when they pointed out that Aelin never discussed with Rowan whether or not he wanted a kid, and she was just like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
And Rowan was like, but you didn't ask me. And Aelin was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't like that. I thought that was kind of uncharacteristic of Aelin a little bit, because I feel like when it comes to their relationship, she kind of goes above and beyond, caring and thinking about him. And it just seemed a little weird to me that she wouldn't even have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
But we were hinted that the throwing up was for another reason. So whatever that is, I didn't like that part. I didn't think that belonged.
She said Terrasen needs a fucking heir somehow, and I might fucking die, so.
Yeah, but I feel like Aelin would have had that conversation with him.
Yeah, it probably would have been something they should have discussed.
I feel like it would have been like it's something that she would have done anyways. I disagree with the writing.
I see.
Yeah, because I don't imagine her as a character putting it that way. Speaking of that, though, we got some information regarding the settling.
Yeah, we did.
We had a lot of information on it. They mentioned it a couple of times. First time in Empire of Storms on 279, Empire of Storms. This is Fenris talking to Rowan, and they're referencing, and he's saying, quote, or is she due to settle soon? And they go on to kind of briefly explain what it is. And I know it's mentioned several other times, but essentially, Aelin could still have some immortality that she hasn't settled into. And the same with Adian. And I think that's pretty interesting that we could still see that. And was a couple of times where Rowan had mentioned that she's still growing and her power is still growing also. So I'm wondering if the settle will also be like her peak for her power.
Does she really need more? Like, God damn.
More. Yeah, I think so.
Like, it's already a burden for her because she's got to let off let off steam and stuff. Like, what is that going to look like if it keeps growing? God damn.
That's what she said.
She's gonna just have a perpetual forest fire. What is she gonna be like, the sole energy producer for the world, just lighting everybody's fires in their hearths and be like, no, it's cool, I got you.
Or she'll die.
She'll burn herself up.
I don't like
it either.
No, nobody likes it.
I have a hard time seeing Sarah do that though.
For at least 3 pages. Here's the thing. Here's one thing that I wanted to mention. Which
are you giving a spoiler right now?
No.
Oh, I thought you were giving a spoiler.
I don't have
like that's how Kingdom of Ash ends.
I was going to point out what we've seen, at least with Nesta, because we don't really, like you said, we don't know the cap of Aelin's power. We don't really know what that looks like. But Aelin's power sometimes is described as this like silver flames and whatnot. And death incarnate, whatever, which is exactly how Nesta's power was. And she was not allowed to keep it, right? Nesta gave her power back at the end of the story for plot purposes, but kept a kernel of it or whatever. That could happen to Aelin too. But like, hear me out. I don't feel like Sarah, when she makes really powerful characters, tends to either, like with Kaltain, kills her off. With Nesta, she's not going to kill her off, but she's gonna limit it. So I could see something like that with Aelin, potentially.
Ooh, what if they have a baby and some of that power goes to the baby?
Perhaps.
I think it would compound their powers.
Yeah, I don't know if it would diminish it.
Also, I would just like to point out, so we're page 320, Empire of Storms. This is where we're talking about her possession, and we're getting into the different kind of fire, the silver flames. Mm-hmm. So, it was very Nesta, but described as moonfire. And I don't believe Nesta's in A Court of Silver Flames was described as moonfire. It would be really interesting to see if Nesta Artron's in Court of Silver Flames is moonfire, but it's not outright stated. So I'm not sure if they're the same kind. But that page, whenever Deanna came and possessed Aelin, I had it marked several times on the one page, which is very rare. So page 320, it says, the iron melted away, molten ore sizzling through the wooden deck. This is the shackles that she had on. The creature that stared out through Aelin's eyes furled her fingers into a fist. Light leaked through her clenched fingers. A cold white light tendrils flickered silver flame. And then we end up getting another name for Aelin called the Queen Who Was Promised.
More names.
I know, but I was actually okay with that one because I like it.
Prophecy.
I was okay with this one. I like this one.
The lock. Did you guys notice the lock is capital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And I was pissed, by the way, that Deanna did this. I did not enjoy the thought that she had been hunting on page 321. Said, and she could only watch if through window, as she felt the goddess who had perhaps not protected her, but hunted her, the entirety of her life for this moment, this opportunity, examine the dark fleet ahead. And then she went to go turn and fuck up the town. And I did not enjoy that either. But I did really enjoy on page 322 when Aelin grabbed her by the fucking throat and slammed that bitch against the inner wall and choked her out. I liked that.
Yeah.
There was so much there, and there's so many implications of that, like of what's going on and what's capable of happening.
Yeah.
What did you guys think, and what was your takeaways from that specific part? Or I mean, just having that around her neck, is that up to possession of any god that exists? She better not go to the fucking southern continent with their 36 gods.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Not that I want to hark back on this point too much, but obviously Chaol has been like, hey, where's the checks on her power? And then there's Aelin losing control and almost murdering a lot of innocents. And
it's just a few. Like, it's fine.
Well, it will probably only get worse, especially if she gets 2 keys, I think. So I'm just going to say I don't know if Chaol's fears are completely unfounded.
Fuck Chaol.
So, okay, well, a lot of people almost died, and Rolf fucking called it out. He's like, what the fuck, bro? So there is something there. So it was definitely surprising, at least. It was interesting to see, because we've been talking about this whole time, right? Of like, are the gods going to play a bigger role? Are they not?
Yeah.
That was not the route I thought that was going to go at all, as far as them actually physically taking over her body.
It was kind of fucked up how she was all like, ooh, I could murder people. That sounds fun. I was like, you fucking jerk.
Yeah.
Well, how are you a god and you just want to murder people for funsies just to see how it feels? Like,
I mean, that's pretty godlike.
Don't be a dick.
But it's interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I never once had imagined Deanna as, in even a small way, as an evil goddess.
No.
And yeah, here she is doing something that's arguably pretty fucking evil, wanting to murder an entire town just for funsies, just to see what it would feel like. And I wonder if not only are the gods and goddesses going to be playing even a bigger role moving forward with possession as a capability, but that the gods and goddesses are not, that they have dimension also.
Sure.
You know, for even on page 366 in Empire of Storms, we find out that Mala Firebringer went fully human and actually brown chicken brown cowed with Brannon, and that's Aelin and Dorian's ancestor, which explains their super mega powers. Were you guys kind of shocked about that, or
about her losing her immortality to do that?
Or just the fact that even happened to begin with? But even then, but she blessed Rowan later on. So, I mean, she had to have, quote unquote, died in her mortal form and returned to her goddess form. So, did she really sacrifice anything?
A night?
Okay.
Damn. Really be like that, huh?
Well, I mean, how long was it really?
She will never get back.
Who's to say it was an entire night? It may have only been like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's I feel like we haven't gotten the truth of that scenario fully yet.
Mm.
You know?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I lost track of who be fucking who in their lineage. I was like, I don't know. They're all related. Shit be happening.
Yeah.
I just assume if they're dead, then they're related to her somehow.
God damn it.
Am I wrong though?
No.
Everyone that we talk about that is dead is related to her. All of them.
Nehemia?
Oh.
Okay,
Sam?
well, wasn't always dead. Sam wasn't always dead.
Arvin.
Fake daddy. Number 1.
Yeah, so not related. Dead as fuck.
Okay, but like family is like who you find, right?
Oh, right.
So there's 2 other gods that are talked about pretty extensively, referenced in Empire of Storms that we haven't brought up yet, because it's not around Aelin and Rowan and Dorian and Adian. It's around Elide and Lorcan. Lorcan gets touched on the shoulder and guided through life by the god of death. I think the god of death may or may not be related to the Sin Eater. Gives me very similar vibes.
Okay.
But I thought it was interesting that the god of death recoiled with the stone marshes. So there's a thought. Second, on page 487, Lorcan kind of outright asks Elide about the voices in her head. She said, he says,
"You hear them?"
He says, "Is it the stone or the goddess who watches you telling you such things?" Because she's gleaning a lot of information about the stone marshes. And which reminds me, really quick aside, Cordis or the marshes in Akatar, they're one and the same to me. I don't know. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
And
especially if they're different planes and they're sitting on top of each other.
And the bog that eats and lives on fear that Pharaoh runs into in the very first part of Akatar is definitely the Vogue in some form.
Ooh. What about the fucking thingy in the water that tried to nom on Nesta?
The
Do
Kelpie.
you think that could be like related to the Ilkin somehow?
I don't know, but it was like there before all of the there was there.
Right.
How horrible would it be if it was Lysandra and she lost herself to her inner...
No,
sorry, I don't think that's where it's going, but that would be
Lindsay
crazy.
is my best.
But sorry, back to 47. It says,
Oh, wow. What if Adian is immortal and Lysandra's not, and then she dies? And Adian has to be alone.
Well, wouldn't he be able to choose to be mortal like what's her face?
I don't know. I guess if he
who
reaches
lost
God
10 minutes of her life?
I don't know. If he reaches God status, I suppose. But at the same time, like, would you?
What if she took the form of a fae?
I don't think it would work that way.
yeah. Well,
But
it's not outright stated that she doesn't have immortality. She is a different species.
That's true.
Well, you know who doesn't have immortality? Dorian.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
Dorian's
no.
fucked.
Uh-oh.
But hold on, though. If he has Mala Lightbringer and Brannon in his line as well, technically he could also settle.
Perhaps.
Wouldn't he also be considered demi-fae?
Yeah.
But she can't have everyone be immortality, right? Because
agreed, because that's a little obnoxious.
Yeah, Elide also has like witch blood.
I think Elide's gonna do a thing. I don't know where it's going, but I feel it in my bones.
You know what I felt in my bones? Whenever she's talking about other people's bones at the marshes, it gave me very Elaine vibes.
Yes. She gives me seer. That's what my bones were saying, but I was saying for the predictions.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I know that it would like she dressed up as an oracle and it was like all funny and shit. And like the costume, I had marked it as being like, oh my God, laughable. But like, what if, just go with me on this little brain journey. What if Sarah was like, you know, what'd be funny? I'm going to make her a seer. And then I'm going to dress her up as an oracle, and it's going to be like totally ridiculous. But, haha, it's actually a thing.
I mean,
but I don't think she sees the future.
She could, though, because Manon does say that some witches get that eventually. If they're like, get to that like
super
ancient
smart
level,
and shit.
when the past and present and future blend together. But that would also imply she's going to live a long time.
What she says on page 47
if
is
she's a witch, isn't she immortal? But
she only has she don't even bleed blue, though. I don't know. We'll see.
So the quote on page 47
says,
she's explaining the voices in her head. She says, "It's my heart that murmurs a warning." So that's a thing. Anaeth is silent. I don't think she wants to be anywhere near. I don't think she will follow. She came to Morath, but not here. What's inside those marshes? And then we completely changed the topic. Anaeth is a god, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anaeth. And she's the goddess of what?
Like wise decisions or
knowledge
something.
or something? I want to say knowledge.
So if Anaeth is whispering in her ear all the time, her heart apparently has some conversations with her as well.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of them want anything to do with the stone marshes. But I have a feeling that they're what is like explain, because she says a lot of shit about the stone marshes that she couldn't possibly know.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't buy that her heart said that's the truth.
Listen,
that
she had mad heartburn and it be talkative.
Oh my god.
So I really feel like those two gods are going to be in there somewhere. And at one point, which I also have a thought about the stone marshes, but
conspiracy theory.
We have so much stuff with the gods and goddesses. I just found another piece that I'll also bring up regarding the gods and goddesses. But okay, on page 497, I don't remember who's saying this. It might be Rowan. He's saying that I didn't want to. Oh yeah, it was Rowan. I didn't want to risk getting too close, but it reminds me of the Sin Eater's temple. So we've got a ton of dead people in a marsh.
Yay.
Gods and goddesses alike, including the god of death, are like, yo, bro, can't do it.
So I'm gonna be over here. You go do that.
Yeah.
The place itself is described as looking like hold on. It says on page 488, heard the thunder of the cataclysm that dropped the land right from underneath them, heard the rushing water that devoured them all before they could run. Curious beasts from sea and swamp and river had converged in the following years, making ruins a hunting ground, feasting on one another and the water-logged corpses. They also describe it as looking like something had walked there and it was a footprint from like a god or something. So this place is fucked. And then this is also the same place on 500 where we're seeing that the Eye of Elena is actually the three-faced goddess.
Mm-hmm. The conversation with Manon.
Elena's a witch? What?
More like a bitch.
Like, what is happening? There is so much going on with the deities of this world. It's almost difficult to keep track.
Yeah. I think that's
almost
partially...
like there's more than 30 of them.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of what Tower of Dawn might be trying to like almost get you ready for, of like some gods and their identities merge in a way. Like that whole type of identity of like, obviously there's named ones and there's important ones, but a lot of them have similar attributes, so they got lumped into one character.
What would happen if the god with Lorcan and the god with Alid was the same god, bringing them together and then being like, okay, now kiss.
What if those gods and goddesses are following them all to the place where they're converging, which is the Sin Eater's temple, and she's got 2 word keys in that place and she opens a door on accident?
Oh, I hate that.
What if they're possessed by the god of death, or Anaeth, or fucking Mala, or Deanna again?
Ooh, I also want to make note for us that the marsh is responding to them being there. Yes. Ignoring the animals, but whenever they kill the mosquitoes, it's like the marsh is responding to them. And I kind of read that and I was like, okay, but like mosquitoes are the bane of everyone's existence. Like, if anything, the marsh should be happy.
Maybe that's another spot where another word gate was opened. I could see that being a place for that, because even like the creatures that are described there have the same eye color as the Vogue kings and the witches. So maybe that was another location where they were brought through, and that's why all the gods are like, ugh.
Something crazy is going to happen, because they even take Fenris and Gabriel take Rowan aside and even say on page 503, your beloved's life and the witches are intertwined. And this is 2 females whose paths cross tonight in a way we've rarely witnessed. 2 queens who might control either half of this continent, 2 sides of one coin, both half-breeds, Manon and Iron Teeth, and a Crocan, Aelin, human and Fae. Between them, they cover the 3 main races of the Earth. Rude, because we're not counting shifters in that. Between the 2 of them, they are mortal and immortal. One worships fire, the other darkness, capital D. Another thing that could potentially be one of these other gods or goddesses, or the Sin Eater, and or potentially something that could, like, what if darkness? Okay, hear me out. What if they both get possessed by the thing that they embody?
And then they have a conversation, and Manon and Aelin aren't even present for it, and those 2 beings are talking to each other in a human corporeal form thing?
Or what if it's a 3-phase goddess shows up to them?
Well, then who's the third? A lead?
Bro!
The maiden? The mystery? Wait, hold on. What was it again? It was the crone? The
old lady.
And
which
what?
Could very easily be Manon, because she's at least
old as shit.
Yeah, she's like 200 years old or something.
A lead is the maiden, because she's a virgin.
Ew.
Sorry.
And then also the one in her prime.
Mother.
That's Aelin.
Mother.
No! Sarah, not another step closer. No,
we just confirmed that she wasn't pregnant. And the maiden.
What if it's a false confirm?
I don't know.
We need Browen and Aelin to stop canoodling.
I guess they could switch it around and be like, I guess Aelin could be the crone if she's inhabited by an immortal spirit.
You know what? Hold on one second.
Okay.
I've had another thought.
An epiphany.
That has been killing me.
Don't die.
I don't remember which book it happened in.
Oh, I hate this journey already.
What do you mean?
In what book did Yellow Legs occur? It was the first one, right?
Crown
Second.
of Midnight.
Are you thinking that there is some foreshadowing?
Yes. I want to go back and look at it.
Oh, that makes me upset. Well, while you're doing that, I have a couple of small things I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
In Empire Storms, the scripture on page 305, I loved that we are describing Aelin, and we're all like, we have feelings. But then she was not a rebel princess, shattering enemy castles and killing kings. She was a force of nature. She was a calamity and a commander of immortal warriors of legend. I want so bad for somebody to call me a calamity. What do I have to do for a man to look at me and be like, no, she's not a bitch. She's a calamity.
Well,
because I'll do
set
it.
The sky on fire. It's a simple ask.
I'll light it all on fire. Let's go. I also wanted to point out in the same book on page 478 that it was sweet as shit that Lorcan washed and dried his own shirt and then cut it up for her to use while she's on her period.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if there are dude peoples out there, or peoples similar, can I just say, if you don't actually, but like the energy, can you please?
Yeah.
We don't actually do that because t-shirts, that's not a thing. But like the feelings of it, can we please? Like, I just need more of it. Like today would be great. Or like tomorrow. I don't care. But like, do it. The world needs it.
I wonder if a lead will have difficulties with having a child.
Get out.
Because there was that like potential forced breeding thing that didn't happen, but then also like she's talking about the effect of her irregular periods and different things that are happening, and said she just wasn't trying to think of it.
I think maybe it's like the stress messes with your cycle.
I don't know. The way she's like,
I thought it was
not
magical.
Think about it. He. Because
I thought it was magic.
Magic? No.
Yeah, because Manon had said at one point that the first bleed or whatever was whenever they found out that they were witches or some shit.
This would be
the last little thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
In Tower of Dawn, in the scriptures on page 376, is where I tagged it, but they do it several times. where every time Nezrin tells everybody where she's from, all they do is tell her welcome home.
I know.
It makes me like sad, but like in a happy way, where I'm like, oh, the sense of belonging, and that's really nice. Like, that's good. No, she needs to live with the mountain people. I like this.
Yeah.
I like her with the mountain people.
Yeah, I think she should marry Sartak and call it a day. Stay out there.
I don't know about that, but I do like her with the mountain people.
I agree. I think she should stay. And she actually says at one point she wants to stay.
She needs a bird.
She'll get one. I think the one that they've been kind of hinting at, that as Ryder had passed, I think they're gonna be
And when she was singing, I was like, oh, yeah, I love.
Yeah, very cute.
Since we got so much spice in this one, what was your guys' like favorite sex scene? Brown chicken.
Our spicy scene?
Yeah.
I guess there was really only one actual sex scene. No one else actually finished the job.
Okay, well, first of all, they have sex multiple times.
Okay.
Which time?
Well, is this going into like favorite couple, least favorite couple, or
either or and yes?
I would love to have sex while on fire.
I don't know if that's something I want.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Okay.
That just sounds really cool. Or hot.
You know what? I think there's a. I think we could just start calling you Little Bird, and someone could fill that for you.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, what does that say about me? Oh, well, that's food for later.
I will say, I have maybe a different opinion on some of the Aelin and Rowan scenes.
You don't like her being on fire.
Well, okay, this is going to be a little bit controversial take.
Oh, boy.
I don't care about that part.
About them getting it on?
Yeah. I kind of just like...
Excuse me?
I'm so sorry. At this point in the story, I'm just so like... I just feel like they missed the opportune time, I guess, to introduce like this element into the story of like adding spice. So when it finally happened, I was like, oh, all right. Like, I wasn't like... I don't know. Just was not enough build, or maybe too much build-up time. I don't know. I mean, the scene itself was nice. I'm glad that they, had their fun and they felt like equals and stuff, and it was described in a fun way. That's cool. But I just like, I'm way more invested in other couples right now.
I mean, the next time I have sex, if the people I have sex with don't cast lightning at trees whenever, I just feel like I need a new partner.
You weren't really I thought you were into the biting.
Yeah, like books and books and books ago. Like 3 or 4 books ago.
Are you saying that that's old news? It's not on trend anymore.
It's just not like spicy to me anymore.
Den of Vipers ruined it.
No. I don't think that
at least there's no knife up a butt.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just like it's hard to select like a least favorite like couple or anything like that, but I would say because Rowan and Aelin are so established that I'm just like, I'm way more interested in seeing where Elite and Loken go, or seeing Urena and Chaol, and seeing these other couples that I haven't had that time with, where it feels like maybe just a better pace to me. Not that I felt like they had sex too soon or whatnot. I mean, it is what it is, but like when it finally happened, I was like, oh, it's all right, because we've been talking about this for so long. We can't have our first time here. We can't have our first time here. We can't have this. I'm like, at this point, like, I'm too tired of waiting for it, and I just, like, it was just kind of like, eh.
I could understand.
I kind of wanted them to burn it down. I feel like I wanted them to have sex in, like, a warehouse filled with paper. And then to just burn down the warehouse.
Goofy.
And then be like, well, oh well.
What about you guys, though? Like, as far as the sex scene, it is Smutty Scriptures. How was the smut?
Oh, boy. I loved the biting. I thought that was hot. I really, God, that Dorian scene. Oh my God.
Dorian and Manon are one I'm way more interested in right now than
Holy shit. When it's so good.
I love that Manon makes him feel powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the fact that he teased her. I liked that. I thought that was so good.
Yeah. I was like half tempted to put Manon down as my my character I most identified with, because I was like, oh, this is me. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can be the dominant partner in the interaction, but like secretly you're like, please don't make me do that. Please put this the other way around.
100% agree. I really enjoyed okay. So with Lorcan in the lead, why I like their progression in the spicy scenes so much is he is so attuned to her trauma and what she is and hasn't gone through. It's very similar to the outlook that Adian has with Lysandra, and that both of them recognize that their interest may or may not be ready and willing and open to touch. And they are respectful of that. And both of them, I think, are not only waiting for consent, but don't reach for it. Does that make sense? Like, they're waiting for them to be approached for the thing. Yeah. So Lorcan didn't kiss Elide. Elide kissed Lorcan. Lysandra and Adian in the alleyway, they were there because they're supposed to be doing what they were doing, but they weren't actually doing anything.
Right.
And he had a conversation with his brain that said, she may not want to be touched for years, and I'm okay with that. And that is a lot. That is crazy. That's insane to be in what's essentially a sexless relationship for years as what used to be a very active young demi-fae, you know? Just to stop that completely for her and wait for her to approach him for that contact. That's so touching to me. And then when Elide is ready, he still's asking for consent, making sure that this is okay. And she's like, I want more. And then he's like, okay, great. And it was also this. Yeah, it was all. Yeah, well, yeah. But it was also the same with Dorian, because Dorian didn't touch Manon until Manon explicitly said that this is what she wanted. Yeah. And she even kind of mocked him for the consent, you know. But I think that well, I mean, she was literally in chains. So. Right. But I think that is by far the sexiest thing to me in this, is that, yes, they're spicy scenes, but this is not spicy scenes for the sake of having spice. This is meaningful progressions in their relationships. And I love how beautifully they're written, and they're real. I mean, maybe not the Manon part, but Elide and Lorcan, like, that's a real situation. That's not crazy fantasy spice. Like, that's very down to earth, very normal. That's not crazy thoughts. Like, I mean, that's probably happened to half a dozen people that are going to be listening.
Howdy.
Same with Lysandra, you know, that kind of thing. And so many, I'm sorry, but to say the truth, so many men aren't like that. And that's where I think I fall in love with the book boyfriends, is where they're better than that. That being said, I think nothing beats making glass on the beach. That was fucking awesome. I loved it, but I really loved the like banter back and forth later where she's remembering when she blew him. And I like that part too. Yeah. My favorite couple, though, is not Aelin and Rowan.
Okay.
It's Lorcan and Elide.
Same.
It's just so good.
Same energy. Absolutely. It's good. It's real good.
I like anybody with Lysandra.
When he says, I will always find you, I made a promise to protect you. I will not break it. Because he knows that abandonment's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And he's comforting her. I also loved some of the shit that the Rowan said, because of course I do. I love that he was like, don't fear and be, what does he say? What does he say on page 349 in Empire of Storms? You do not face this alone. You do not decide that you are unlovable because you have powers that can save and destroy.
That's nice. I like that.
I loved that. And then next page.
You do not decide you are unlovable. So you could just end right there.
Next page. I love you. There is no limit to what I can give you. No time I need. Even when this world is a forgotten whisper of dust between the stars, I will love you. Can I just... And I know someone's out there like, and I can't even get a call back.
Oh my God.
You up?
He says I love you, but Rowan said...
I love it. I feel like we need a poll or something to say like the best I love you replacement, and Broen needs to be in there.
Oh yeah, I mean to whatever end. Come on. Yeah. I will say Lorcan and Elite have such good potential that I'm living for their dynamic.
I just love the fact that she doesn't back away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's all like, what? That's supposed to be scary?
Honestly.
So you have pointy teeth. Big whoop. You still wipe your ass like I do.
I will say too, I think just because it hasn't been really developed yet, I would also probably say I'm not like in love with where Adian and Lysandra are right now. I think that it could be more.
Oh, it will.
But it's very, it's the slowest of slow burns. Which is fine, but I do think there could be some potential for actual just like romance, not necessarily like a physicality to it, but something there would be interesting. Like I feel like I got more with Nesrin and Sartek than I have with Lysandra and Adian so far as bonding in that way.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Lysandra is almost always in a different form. Does that mean...
Go ahead. Ask it.
Say it.
Yeah, ask it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's so we can record it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm
out there on the internet.
I'm just gonna leave. It's not a question. Right. It's an observation. I'm gonna leave it right there. Gonna just set this down and walk away.
The answer is yes. And as the sea wyvern.
And my least favorite couple has got to be anybody with Carol because I still hate him. He's not better.
Sartak and Nesrin to me are frigid.
Yeah, when I go from a Chaol and Irene chapter to Nesrin and Sartak, I'm like, ugh. Like, it's interesting, but I'm not like, oh, good.
I do like his hair.
Sartak?
Mm.
Yeah.
I like his hair and his bird. That's pretty much... Yep,
that's all we got. It seems to be enough for Nesrin, and I love that for her. Honestly, she deserves someone where she's not the second choice or third
She
choice.
deserves a good braid.
She does. You know what?
Dude with a nice braid.
Yeah, I'm in.
And a nice burb.
Do you guys, besides like the respective couples themselves, do you have a favorite or least favorite character as like an individual?
Lysandra.
Okay, yeah. Same. Her part in this section was fucking
she is
badass.
Best. Lizzie is best bean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I freaking love her. And I hated her so much, but now I love
her.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel like the theme has changed? Or has it?
I don't think it has. I think we're just getting to like war is brewing energy.
I feel like it's more about like being in your villain era right now.
Go on.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, like me as a person, the 29 forever person that I am right now, I would be like, I consider myself in my villain era right now. And it's really more about like setting those boundaries and maintaining them.
Okay.
And I feel like pretty much everybody is doing that. setting boundaries and maintaining them. Being like, no, this is me. I'm doing my own shit. Mm-hmm. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, I can see that. I also see it as this is maybe the era of their motivation in war. Like, not necessarily, obviously we know why these characters are going to all end up fighting and all engage in combat. But in the sense of all of these characters are getting a lot of relationship and love growth and development and things happening with their plot along those lines. And I think that's because they are going to need a motivation to continue the fight and like what comes after and the healing of that.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Cuddle? How do you think that the theme has changed or stayed the same?
I think it's pretty much stayed the same. Embracing yourself and, figuring out who you are, being true to that. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually looking back at Crown of Midnight for the Baba Yellowleg stuff. I want to piece through this and then I want to read you guys some nice little excerpts that might now have some pretty steep implications.
Okay.
I think I might find in this book at least a hint as to why she was vomiting. So there's a lot. So it says, Bobby Yellowlegs is explaining shit to Selena in Crown of Midnight. She says, the word governs and forms the foundation of this world. Not just Aurelia, but all life. There are worlds that exist beyond your knowledge, worlds that lie on top of each other and don't know it. Right now, you could be standing at the bottom of someone else's ocean. The word keeps these realms apart. There are gates, plural, gates, black areas in the word that allow for life to pass between the worlds. So that would suggest it's not just Throne of Glass's version of them. It would also be in Akatar's.
Yes.
So where the gates would be in Akatar world, I don't know. There are word gates that lead to Aurelia. All sorts of beings have come through them over the eons. The 9 things, but also the dead and foul things that creep in when the gods are looking elsewhere. But long ago, before humans overran this miserable world, a different sort of evil broke through the gates, the Valg. Demons from another realm, bent on the conquest of Aurelia, and with the force of an endless army behind them. In Wendlin, they fought against the Fae. Try as the immortal children might, they could not defeat them. Then the Fae learned that the Valg had done something unforgivable. They had taken a piece of the word gate with their dark magic and split it into 3 slivers, 3 keys. 1 key for each of the kings. Using all 3 at once, the Valg kings were able to open that word gate, singular, at will to manipulate its power to strengthen their forces, to allow an endless line of soldiers to pour into the world. The Fae knew that they must stop it. So a small band of Fae set out to steal them from the Valg kings. It was an impossible task. Most of the fools didn't return. But the word keys were indeed retrieved, and the Fae Queen Maeve banished the Valg to their realm. Yet for all her wisdom, Maeve couldn't discover how to put the keys back in the gate, and no forge, no steel, no weight could destroy them. So Maeve, believing that no one should have their power, sent them across the sea with Brannon Galthinius, the first king of Terrasen, to hide on this continent. And thus the word gate remained protected, its power unused. That sounds like all 3 of them were in Brannon's hands at one point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the riddle is
he escaped.
I don't know.
Brannon?
Yeah, I thought Brannon
I thought he left because he was pissy.
Yeah, he pieced out, but she was like, "No, don't leave," and he was like, "No, I'm leaving."
The person who holds all 3 word keys would have control over the broken word gate and all Aurelia. They would be able to open and close the gate at will. They would conquer new worlds or let in all sorts of life to bend to their cause. But even 1 key could make someone immensely dangerous. Not enough power to open the gate, but enough to be a threat. You see, the keys themselves are pure power, power to be shaped as the wielder wills it. So the king has one. That's how he was able to conquer the continent.
But I thought that Aelin on the pirate ship, it said that she opened a gate and Deanna came through. Yeah. She didn't mean to open the gate, but she did.
Well, and then there was another gate that was open to let in the dog thing in the castle.
A portal, if you will.
It's a portal.
Yeah. Was a portal not a gate?
No.
Okay, so there's got to be more. Well, here's something interesting. Going back to that original, not poem, riddle. By the Valg 3 were made, of the gate stone of the word, obsidian the gods forbade, and stone they greatly feared, stone like stone marshes. In grief he hid one in the crown of her he loved so well, to keep with her where she lay down inside the starry cell. The second one was hidden in a mountain made of fire, where all men were forbidden despite their great desires, which we still don't know what that is. Where the third lies will never be told by voice or tongue or sum of gold. That's obviously the...
Say that again?
Where the third lies will never be told by voice or tongue or sum of gold.
You know, I know what it is, but like, you know what that reminds me of is the Sin Eater.
Oh. Where all men were forbidden and a mountain made of fire. You know, we're talking a lot about molten cores of the earth right now, but they're all inside of Selena. Wouldn't that be weird?
She has one inside of her.
The whole time.
Well, rip me open. And Rowan's like, all right, I'll do it.
Nobody else is going to cut you open. It's just going to be me.
I'll do it with my penis.
Oh my God.
No, with his teeth.
Yeah, let's see. Unanswered questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why the hell was she thrown up?
Oh, Aelin?
Yeah.
Because she had a little tummy ache, dude. She had a little...
Listen,
a little upset
everybody has bad days.
I do.
Blue, did you?
Good.
Did you have any
Not
unanswered questions?
So much a question. But I do have a prediction.
Okay.
That it's kind of a question because I'm like, oh, I know why Sarah brought this up. But like right at the end of our reading for Empire of Storms in the Scriptures, this is about page 504 and 505, somewhere in between there, when it's mentioned about this character. I'm assuming their name is pronounced Karen or Karn, could be potentially. The tales of what
I took it as Karen.
Fair enough. And in a sense he encountered, he's described as really sadistic and, you know, someone that Rowan and Lorcan both reject, right? And they, Fenris and whatnot, they talk about how Maeve will probably strike at an inopportune time when Aelin's at her weakest. And I feel like Aelin is going to, because this is Rowan's biggest fear, and there's all these ... the tales of what he does ... if Aelin and Karen ever encounter each other ... I'm like, okay, well, obviously she's gonna get fucking captured and tortured. And
so obviously they're gonna encounter each other.
Fucking obviously. And I think there will be moments in the scripture of her being tortured by this person. I think Rowan and whatnot, but they'll come and save her, obviously. But I just think she'll think that it's justified because of what she didn't stop from happening to Sam. I feel like she's going to be ready to go in that scene when she's being tortured.
That's interesting.
I feel like that we'll get a little bit of the loathing of Aelin and Selena in those moments when she's broken down mentally.
Ew. I hate it.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. Otherwise, it's really the only plot point where I'm like, oh, that's more of a question.
Let me see if there was anything else.
I had a couple thoughts in Tower of Dawn.
Yeah, I did too.
So the bad guy going after Irene in whenever she took shelter in the bedroom, I think that's a spider dude. I think it's a spider person.
How would it have gotten through there?
On the ceiling.
You
know, because nobody ever bothers to fucking look up. But I think the Valg is hunting. Yes, there's a Valg hunting in Antica. I think that's the name of the city. And it was in the library, and it was in the dark hallway, and it's hella fast. Yeah, and all it said, because it said something, it spoke it spect, and when it spect, it said her name. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right. We know about the spider people, that the spider people on the southern continent are like cousins to the ones on the northern one. They're like the same, except completely different. So while the ones up north are, I mean, I wouldn't say friendly, but like mercantile, friends with other people. That is not the same as the ones on the lower part, but they're not dumb. And there was another part where they talked about Fae being on 378. They were talking about the Fae being down on the southern continent, and there's all sorts of like language learning. And I feel like maybe even if they don't speak the language, they might know enough to get by. The spider person was already talking whenever they had their whole "you gotta look up" moment. Yeah?
Right.
Feel like that bad guy is a spider person. And I feel like it's got something to do with the desert oasis.
Speaking of the desert oasis,
because there's caves.
It's a city of the dead, much like the stone marshes.
Just thinking. They're hiding in plain sight all this time. I just feel like it's a spider person. Also, the fuck happened to Southern Continent Fae? A, why are they there? B, where they go? Why not here now?
Maybe they went back through a word gate at one point.
Rude.
They said, you know what? It fucking sucks here. I hate it. Wi-Fi.
I mean, I love that they taught the burbs to talk or like to understand the talk. Like, that's cool that they allowed them to understand the spake, but the fuck?
Yeah.
Where you is, bro?
Yeah, we'll see.
Can't just like teach to understand a language and then peace out.
What about you, Cuddle?
Also, how are they so smart to be able to teach the birds how to understand language and not smart enough in their infinite fae immortal wisdom to know that spiders climb walls? I feel like they're...
What, you mean Nestor and the Sorsak?
No, I'm talking about the fae people that we don't know where they are. They're the ones that built the traps and shit. Like, how can you teach the birds how to understand languages and be so heckin' smart, big time smarty pants people, but then you make traps on the ground for spider people who climb on the ceiling? Like, I feel we're channeling like early series Selena Gomez level of critical thinking.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it's giving me sadness and frustrate.
Well, it says on page 377 of Tower of Dawn that the spiders learned the tongues of men as they ate the fools stupid enough to venture into the barren realm. Some who made it out claimed because the fells reminded them of their own blasted world. Others said the spiders lingered to guard the way back, to wait for that door to open up again and go home. So that would almost lead me to believe that the word gate would be in the mountains with them. Which, what happens if Nezrin... Well, you're saying that people skip Tower of Dawn, so they're probably not going to find the gate in Tower of Dawn. But that would be interesting since they're in the spider's territory right now at the end of our section in Tower of Dawn. If they happen to stumble upon it. I wonder if there's more than one, though. It makes sense for there to be more than one. 8,
Yeah, I would agree. Because then, like, how did Mala even get there to become mortal? What gate did she use? Because did she just pop out of thin air? She said, boop. She said, hi, Brennan.
So one thing, so someone that I really identified with was Irene on page 302.
Mm-hmm. In which book?
In Tower of Dawn. Because she's saying to Chaol, you yourself are surrounded by some living tales. How do they feel about it? Well, Aelin certainly enjoys it. She'd never met another person with so many names and titles.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Sarah J. Maas laughed at her own ridiculousness when giving that character so many damn names.
Yeah.
That's true.
That even the characters in the story are calling her out.
I loved that. That was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, that was Nesrin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nesrin? Oh, yeah. Well, that's who it is. Nesrin.
Shit. I love her. For identified, I would say, well, I obviously already shared Manon in the bedroom, but I kind of had a funny, kind of sad answer, so trigger warning, just a lead being ready to die at any time.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, mood. She said, I ain't even hesitating. She's like, huh! I'm like, damn, queen, same. Iconic behavior.
You just want to be an icon.
Yeah.
Who is an icon?
Well, I feel like I most identified with Lysandra because she's just out here living her own goddamn life, and I have been doing that.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't necessarily dive into the mud to go turn into a snake.
What's stopping you?
Oof. I think it's illegal.
I don't think it's illegal to turn into a snake.
I feel like it is. Maybe against the laws of nature.
No, I don't believe in those.
All right, Cuddle, what about you?
Cuddle said Nesrin.
You think? No.
Yeah.
Do you think it's illegal?
Oh.
For someone to turn into a snake?
Yeah, laws of
No.
nature. What about you? Do you think it's illegal?
No.
All right. Well, then I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, schedule some time away. I mean, whatever you can pencil in.
Who do you guys most want to lecture or kill? La, la.
I've already discussed Chaol. I will leave it at that.
I kind of want to, I get it, but I kind of want to lecture Adian a little bit. I feel like his reaction to his dad, because, clearly, his dad is reacting to information that Adian is giving him that he's like, oh, I had no fucking clue. So Adian has a lot of pent-up, anger and aggression towards him that he's not, getting actual answers for. He's just like, you did this, and you caused this, and bop, 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 bop. And that's valid, because he is angry. But then he could see his dad being like, oh my god, I had nothing to do with that. That's crazy. Non-verbally communicating with him, and then just still choosing not to say anything. So I think he could potentially go into those conversations with a little bit more grace, at least. Because he's a little hard on his dad. And I would think that at least Adian would want to get information. Like he said before, he doesn't remember his mother at all because she died really early on in life. So he could find out a lot about her. There's a lot of information he could gather through Gabrielle, and he's not taking that route, and he's just being angry at him, and Gabrielle's out here risking his life to save his son sometimes. So it's damn, my guy is out here literally putting himself in physical danger even though you've been real mean to him.
I think they're going to get there.
Yeah, I know that, again, Sarah's going to do this thing where, the relationship's bad and then we repair it. I get it. But, why is he so angry, dude?
Such sigh.
Yeah. So that's really all.
I feel like I want to lecture two people. I want to lecture Maeve because she is just, using and abusing people. And I hate that on so many levels. And it made me so sad at the end of the reading in Empire Storms, whenever Kitty Cat Man and Fenris were all like, look, man, Loki, we're just really happy to have been a part of this for at least a little bit of a time that we've got.
Yeah.
I was so big sad. I was like, oh no, the boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all her fault. She's kind of being a cunt.
True.
So she should maybe kind of not be. one. Just spitballing here. And then also kind of want to lecture the Kagan, whatever, Emperor dude.
Yeah.
Who, like, in my brain looks like the king from the Disney Atlantis movie. I want to lecture him because he's being stupid. Like, stringing everybody along and being like, and then like, oh no, you had to book an appointment. And then he's all like, you think you're being slick? Yeah, well, fuck off.
If Erwin wants you lot dead, a nod toward Dorian and Aelin. Why let you mature, grow powerful? Because I escaped Erwin. Dorian tried not to remember that night 10 years ago, but the memory of it snapped through him and her in He thought I was dead, and Dorian, his father, shielded him as best as he could. Maeve knew you were alive. Odds are, so did Erwin. Maybe she told Erwin. She never has any contact, as far as you know. Maeve does not share power. She saw Arnold as an inconvenience. Still does. Everyone can be bought for a price. Nameless is the price of Maeve's allegiance. It can't be purchased. Aelin went utterly still at the warrior's words. Nameless is the price of Maeve's allegiance. She blinked at him, her brows.
Wait, nameless. That's the mark. They called that the nameless mark. That was on her forehead? Is nameless capital?
Right. Aelin went utterly still at the words where she blinked at him, her brows narrowing as her lips silently mouthed the words he said. What is it? Nameless is my price. Aelin opened his mouth, no doubt to ask what snagged her interest. Can your kind see the future? See it as an oracle can. Some, the Blue Bloods claim to. Any other clans? They say that for the ancients, past and present, future bleed together. She shook her head and walked toward the door that led to the hall of cramped cabins. Rowan swooped off the rigging and shifted his feet. Was that about an ancient Baba Yellowlegs?
So you gotta go back and look at whenever Carol and Dorian and Selena Gomez.
Yellowlegs was a fortune teller, a powerful oracle. I bet she knew Queen was the moment she saw her and saw things she planned to sell to the highest bidder. Yellowlegs wouldn't have told the Queen anything outright, only in veiled terms, so it'd drive the girl mad when she figured it out. Okay. So, we go to the first time that they met her. Welcome, welcome, shouted an old woman, bent and gnarled with age, from podium. Crown of stars adorned her silver hair. Look into my mirrors and see the future. Let me examine your palms so that I might tell you myself. The old woman pointed and nodded cane at Selena. Care to have your fortune told, girl? Come into my wagon, dear heart, and let old Baba Yellowlegs take a look into your future. You're a witch. First thing that Selena said, you're a witch. Rude. Last born witch in the witch kingdom. Selena getting upset because she can't figure out a very simple riddle.
Always.
Oh, how far we've come. That shit was annoying. I have one prediction.
Go on.
All right, what's your prediction?
My one prediction is I think that Falcon is Lysandra's dad.
He's only 27.
Yeah.
I think he's her dad.
Oh. Hey?
He would have had a baby at 6 years old?
You know what? Time passes differently. We don't know anything about how they age outside of human form.
I mean, maybe, but I think they're too close in age to still. Considering he couldn't even ship for a long time.
I still think some shit's about to go down the next couple of chapters of Empire of Storms right when we get back. Have some crazy shit go on where they're all converging in the stone marshes.
Yeah, those marshes are going to go crazy.
How many more mosquitoes do you think are going to die?
At least one.
So, one for each name.
Oh, God. Decimating a species. So, if I'm not mistaken, it's my turn for Bay of the Day.
It do be.
Or and I have the day. I guess there is smut, whichever you prefer.
I have a person, and that person is Lorcan. Lorcan is Bay of the Day. Lorcan is Bay of the Day because Lorcan has, I think, grown to have feelings for a weaker being, and I feel like that shows strength in him. And I think the fact that he handled her period with such amazing grace earned him Bay of the Day.
All right. That's pretty solid.
I do love when he hears a lead story and all of the uncle trauma, and he's like, "Do you want me to kill him? I'll kill him." And she's like, "Yeah, you can do that."
She's like, "Yeah, sure,
yeah,
if you want." No big.
If you remember when Dorian and Chaol learned about Aelin's period, they both got really wigged out, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Dumb.
Rowan was basically like, "Yo, I've seen you wet yourself, and it's not a big deal." But I don't think he would go necessarily as far as Lorcan did.
Sure. Okay, I can see that. Lorcan's trying his best. He's an service king. I just love the scene.
Service king.
I love the scene where Elide is watching him and watching everyone watch him, and all these women fawning themselves just about how he's so hot and all this, blah, blah. And then she's like, "Well, I'm going to go back to my tent now." He's got all this attention. And then Lorcan the whole time is just noticing people noticing her.
Oh, yeah.
It's this endless back and forth. And I'm like, oh my God. Look at these dumb hotties that are about to date.
Oh my God. Is that a himbo and a herbo?
They're both too smart.
I'm very excited for what Elide's going to grow into.
I can't wait till she gets her fucking ankle fixed.
She's not. But
she needs it fixed.
Without further ado, we're
going to finish these. We're going to finish this tandem read.
Yes, we are going to be doing our next episode. That will complete our tandem read, won't it? Of Tower of Dawn and Empire Storms.
Yeah, yep, so indeed.
Finishing it up, going through a lot. I'm sure this next section is going to be fucking nightmare because Sarah, always for the last parts of her book, is going crazy, and we're going to be reading 2 of those books at the same time.
Oh.
So that's going to be a lot. But of course, we want to thank you guys for listening. This has been Smutty Scriptures, reading the tandem read of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. Next episode, we are going to complete all of this, so that is going to be very fun. As always, check out the Smutty Scriptures Instagram. We have a TikTok page. On that Instagram, you can also get access to the Etsy, where these 2, Purple and Cuddle, are making some really fun designs, a lot of book club kits. I'm still waiting for podcast merch, by the way. I want a Smutty Scriptures hoodie. I want a Smutty Scriptures sticker. But that's besides the point. We got plenty of fun stuff for you guys to look at there and interact with us. We even have a Goodreads group now, so you got a lot of ways to interact with the Smutty Scriptures gang. But with that being said, church is adjourned.
Hallelujah.
Amen.